everybody. So just getting set up today. It's been a bit of a battle. Had a last minute haircut just finish. My wife cut my hair. Just finished with that. So, all right. Here we're gonna do some Xamarin development. We're gonna work on Prism. Hoping to finish up the pull request I started a few weeks back that deals with deep linking and deep navigation within an app. So before we move on to that, I got a beer here. So this is again from a local brewery called Lost Craft. This one's Eclipse. It is a milkshake IPA. And let's see, it's 6%. So that's pretty good. Pour this, and then I'll get into some code. Nice day for a beer here. I've been outside pretty much all day so far, sitting on my deck, doing a bit of yard work. Toronto's pretty nice today, so it's great. It's a really good beer. Yeah, that's nice. Cheers, everybody. All right, let's get into it. So let's start by reviewing stream notes from last time. Let's see. So we had some notes to do some. Well, this is what we did last time. So last time we went through, we cleaned up page navigation service. So page navigation service is, of course, the service in Prism that allows you to use to easily navigate from within your view models. Just gonna move the camera here. Move it over a little bit. It's kind of tricky to get in the camera at the right angle here, just because I've got a curved monitor and it sits on top of it. I think that should do it. Okay, so clean up unneeded changes to page navigation service. We accomplished that. We started writing some tests. We actually revised the tests we had in order to handle some better scenarios. So we had Brian Lagunas, one of the maintainers and actually the creator of Prism, or kind of pseudo creator. A little bit of a story there, but anyways, he was on the stream pairing with me last time, which was really great help. And we got some great work done around how we are actually going to structure these URLs, because there's a little bit of ambiguity on how we're going to deal with it. So that's kind of denoted down here. We didn't actually end up having to discuss tab navigation behavior. Commented on the ticket instead in GitHub. And Brian was on, of course, so we kind of talked about it. So we basically went with this syntax. So we're using a pipe syntax to express our URIs. So basically, when you're coming into your app, you'd get into your app with a tab page. So that brings you to your tab navigation. Then you're going to select one of your tabs based on the name of the page you want to select, or the tab you want to select. And then you can navigate to several pages beyond that. So each one of these gets pushed onto the navigation stack for tab 2. So we're assuming tab 2 is a navigation page. Basically, it has to be a navigation page so you can push the subsequent pages onto the stack. So then, if you use a slash at the end, this denotes that you're starting another navigation stack. So this would open modally. So that's ultimate flexibility. It basically allows you to get into any page within your app through a navigation URI, which is awesome. And then Prism, of course, has the create tab syntax as well. So you can actually dynamically create tabs on your tab page, or on just even a generic Xamarin.Forms tab page by using the create tab syntax. So this would get you to the same path, but this would dynamically create tabs. So, okay, we worked through that. That worked out really, really well. And then we got to the point where we had a bunch of passing tests, or we had 2 passing tests at the end of last session. Of course, Rider is loading on the wrong monitor. I'll just give it a minute to have its fun. I might actually have to restart Rider. It's behaving a little funny. So as I said, or as I've mentioned before on the stream, I use JetBrains Rider as my primary ID, which does not want to load on my streaming monitor here. Oh. I often ask, does anybody know how to use a Mac? Because window management on a Mac is still something I do not have down to a science. Okay, here we go. I have to kind of reorganize this. The test pane taking up a lot of space. We have our change list taking up a lot of space. Don't really need that, but we definitely want to look at these tests because this is where we left things last time. So we wrote these two tests. This is let's take a look at this. So this is our first test. This test is using a tab page. So this is a unit test. Everything's mocked. It's using a tab page, an empty tab page. This is actually the second test we wrote. So this is using the create tab syntax. It's in this constant here, and we're using string interpolation to build our navigation string. So tab page empty. We're going to create tab 1. We're going to create tab 2 wrapped in a navigation page. So see, this syntax looks very similar to what we're going to do with our navigation path, which you'll see at the end of this URI. Create tab 3, great. And then we're going to select tab 2, and then we're going to load another content page into our navigation stack of tab 2. So that's great. We got this green last time at the end of the session. That's awesome. And we committed the PR. So now what I want to do, one of the things that we didn't really finish last time because I was having trouble with my test device, with my Moto G3, which I lovingly call shit phone. So shit phone wouldn't load the app, and so I couldn't really test it. So let's get back into that. I think that's a good starting point. So I'm going to load up Visor. Having a test device, like a dedicated test device that I can just use here, really saves a lot of mucking around with the Android emulators. The Android emulator, I find, particularly since I'm using one machine to stream and do all the things, I find that if you run the emulator, it just bogs your system down like crazy. So I really try not to run the emulator. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, unknown device, okay, there it is. We're gonna run this up. So Prism tab nav, look in this solution here. So what I've basically done is I had a test app that I was using to test my augmentation to Prism, and I basically just took the Prism library and dropped my existing projects in there to test it. Now I'm testing with Android because Android's a lot easier to test deep links with. iOS, you have to go through the whole cycle of registering the apps within the developer portal, and I just didn't really want to mess around with that. Really, when it boils down to it, it's a cross-platform thing with Xamarin.Forms. So because you're using Xamarin.Forms, because we've got this nice common layer here, we can use this method here, the onAppLink request received. So if we override this method in our app XAML CS, we get the URI that's coming in from the operating system. So the platform-specific heads both call into this, and then we get the URI and we can do whatever we need to. And in our case, we're just passing it to our navigate method, and Prism's handling it. So this navigate async, the only thing that this is doing is it's using the Prism navigation service, and then it's checking to make sure that the result is a success. So I think I can just kill this. We're just gonna get rid of this old code. So that was the code that I had in there as a way to fix the Prism behavior before we actually had it built into the framework. So Bear with me a minute here. I am taking a look at the feed on YouTube. Just want to make sure. Want to make sure that if anybody's chatting on YouTube that I can respond. I still don't have that hooked into my Streamlabs. I don't really know how to do that, but it's a problem for another day. Okay, I'll just keep tabs on that. All right, so let's see how this works. So I'm going to launch this on my Moto G3, and we'll just take a look at this. I think the first thing, before I even do this, before I get into this, let's take a look at, I've got a bookmarked link here that I set up with these deep links. So I want to take a quick look at the structure of these. I'm going to open, I need to edit this, so I'm going to do this on another window here. Just give me a sec. I will bring this up in VS Code. And we'll take a look at how those links are structured. And yeah, we'll take a look at how those links are structured, and I'll show you what we're going to do. I don't think they're accurate. I don't think they adhere to the naming or the URL scheme that we're now using, which is why I want to double check. Yeah, okay, so we got some raw HTML here. Just give me 1 second. I'll bring this over in VS Code. Okay. Okay, so we have our list of 5 links here. So we have the simple first scenario, so items page. We have, so main page is our tab page here. This is just a custom XAML based tab page. And we're selecting a specific tab. So we're selecting the items page on the main page, which is one of the 2 tabs. And then we were navigating to the item detail page. Now this is kind of interesting. This is not a scenario we actually handled. So we'll have to look at that too. We don't have a test for that. So let's just go about this with let's start with our simplest scenario here. So we know this one works. Select the tab because that's built in already. I'm going to, oh, there's another link here on another line. So the line ending. About page, so that's open the about page. Oh, this is with create page, create tabs. Okay, you can ignore that. So we want to navigate to item detail page. We're of course going to use a piped syntax here. Let's call this item detail. And I'm going to bump this. I'm just going to get rid of a bunch of these in here because they're kind of just noise at this point. This was testing with the old scenario before I had kind of nailed down that URI syntax. So really, we just want to look at item detail and item 2. I think we're okay with these 2 as well. We'll come back and look at those later. Oh, okay. So I'm just gonna put these back into that page. So we're gonna load this page up on my test device. Back up visor. Hopefully it actually behaves itself. Funny. Okay, so we've got this page up in Chrome. Need more beer. Chrome is out of date. Oh no. Okay, I don't care. We're gonna refresh this. So we get that, yeah, item details. So this is the page we want to launch. So we don't have the app running yet. Let's do that. Let's get that app deployed. Should have done that first. It takes a minute. Okay, while this is doing its thing, let's start some new stream notes. Okay. Build failed. That's not allowed. Oh, this is the XAML C. So I've run into this a couple of times. It just does some funny things. Where's my build output? Here. Where's my scroll bar for the build output is the better question. This low screen resolution is really quite tricky. Where is my scroll bar? Oh, there it is. Cool. Okay, so what do we got here? 2 errors. Just gotta suppress these warnings. Search this for XAML, see where this is coming from. Validate only parameters not supported by the XAML C task. Building target, XAML C, Prism nav project, CS proj, failed. Here's our actual error, I think. Yeah, this is odd. Let's back this up a little bit. It's funny too because I'm pretty certain I have it all turned off. All the XAML C. It's just XAML compilation. Yeah, we've got to comment it out everywhere. You know what? I think what we'll do here is we will just clean. Right. Can't clean a specific. Can't clean a specific. Clean failed. There's a WPF project open. Yes. There's a bunch of WPF. Unknown projects. So that's not gonna, that'll help our case a little bit. Cool, clean succeeded, so now we're ready to try rebuilding it again. See how we do this time. Okay, we'll wait for that. And start some new stream notes. Get going with that. Build failed. This is not productive so far. There's a date today, the 25th. Okay. Oh, we got that done. Why are you failing me, build? What is going on here? Validate only. I wonder if something got updated without me really realizing. So this is, I think this is similar to what happened last session where I couldn't get it to build either. Because recently I upgraded Rider, so 2020.1 came out for Rider, and I think it might be the problem here. So let's try, we'll try 2 things here. First, let's try Visual Studio for Mac. Just tell me I'm dropping frames. Anybody's in the chat. Good to know if they're seeing decent video quality or if frames are being dropped. please let me know if there are issues with sound and or video. Okay, odd. Okay, so I'm just gonna close all these. Don't need all those documents. Oh, the issue is just funny. Oh, we're definitely dropping frames. What is going on today? Let's see. It's probably all these windows I have open. Generally has something to do with it. We'll see what activity monitor is telling me here. It's probably going to tell me Visual Studio is taking a lot of CPU time, and OBS, and Rider. You know, the things I need open. Okay, so that issue is definitely Rider 2020.1. So that's interesting. So something is up with the XAML-C processor in Rider 2020.1 because it was working perfectly fine in 2019 release here. Interesting. Well, they run side by side, so I guess I could try. I don't think I purged my other instance. Let me see. Let's see if I can bring that back up. Curious if anybody else is using Rider and has seen something similar. I thought I had the other version still going. You know what? It doesn't matter because Visual Studio is running it. And we've achieved what we want to achieve. We have the test app installed on our test device. Okay, so here's our test device. Running our test app. It's really simple. Very good. Let's open our deep link. So our app is registered to What? What is happening? Here we go. All right, so our app is registered to handle our TO Mobile Devs links. Look at this. So this is going to take us to, it's going to select the items page tab, and then navigate us to, or push the item detail page onto the stack. Let's try that. So I'm just going to exit that modal. See what happens here. Cool, so it's doing what we want. This is working. Now I want to see what this looks like with a parameter. So we never tested this with a parameter. We'll test it with the parameter in real life here, like using the real app, and then write a unit test for it. So this is item 2. Oh, you know what? So this crashed, but I think it crashed because we're using the wrong syntax. Yeah. So this is the modal syntax. This is something different. So this is another issue that we're going to have to address. But in the meantime, we can fix up our URI CADs using the slash. Let's fix that. Just republishing this page. Should actually, what I'll end up doing is, Let's do this now. I don't like messing around with this HTML. It's very finicky. I'd rather do this in right in a Xamarin.Forms page, because then we can even hard reload it if we want to. Oh yeah, okay, this is great. This is a great time for me to use, for us to use a markup extension I created. So I'm gonna go to my blog here. Let's see. Opening URLs from XAML. This is perfect. This is a perfect scenario for this. So, extensions, open browser. So we're gonna do this. So it's just a little markup extension, 63 lines. This is just, so let's go there. Cool. So this is a little markup extension. I'm going to bring this into our project here. And we'll create it. I'm going to close Rider because I think we're done, and it's just using, like, if it can't launch the app, I don't care about it at this point. It can just go away for now. Okay, so what we'll do, this thing just lost connection to my, keeps switching test devices. I don't know. Anyways, what we're gonna do, first we'll add a little folder here. Call it extensions. I'm going to move some things around on my desk. My desk, which has too much stuff on it currently and needs a cleaning. Okay, this will help me actually be able to type. Okay, so we're going to create extensions. We're going to add a class. This is mfractor, by the way. Add class using clipboard. Yeah, nice. Project, folder, extensions. I think it, yeah, look, it changes our namespace and everything. Look at that, that's beautiful. Bravo, mfractor. So if you're using Xamarin, mfractor is a great tool for all these kind of handy shortcuts. Look at how easy that was. I didn't have to muck around with anything. That's our first stream note, by the way. Stream notes. So, or today's notes. Let's see. Give mfractor kudos for paste class functionality, because that's really great. Okay, so we've got our markup extension, which is awesome. So that means let's create another page here on our in our views. So new file, forms. We're going to use a forms content page XAML, and we'll call this links page. So links page is going to be really, really simple. It's not going to do much. So the only thing this links page is going to do, it's not going to have a view model. We don't need one. I really hate this formatting. I know a lot of people hate that one-line formatting. Anyways, we're going to create a stack layout. And I guess before I even start messing around with this markup, let's get hot reload going so I can actually see what I'm doing. Yeah, let's fire this up. you haven't used Xamarin.Forms before, there is a XAML hot reload function that's built, or mechanism that's built into Xamarin.Forms and Visual Studio. Allows you to easily work on UI, iterate a little quicker than you would be able to without. Come on, Visor, you can do better than that. Where's my other Visor window? Yeah, thanks. Okay, cool. There's our app. And we're gonna have to resize Visual Studio a little bit here. So tricky working with this resolution. Like, I want to make it easy to view from wherever you're viewing from, whether that's an iPad or, and I know it tends to be my preference. Okay, so main page is our tab page. So what we'll do first, we'll add another tab here. And I'm not going to copy paste. I'm actually going to type this out. Why not? Navigation page, title, we'll call this links. So navigation page, are we going to give it an icon? I don't think I'm going to give it an icon because we're using Android, so we don't really care. Give it X arguments. Spell, that would be helpful. Arguments, and we'll add our views, and that will be our links page. Cool. Oh, look at this, the debugger was disconnected. So I want to show actually how handy this is. So I can cut that, save it, relaunch. Something about this, the connection to my, oh no, I don't want this. Just launched the Android emulator for me. This is gonna kill my machine. Okay, good. Crisis averted, maybe. No, stop. Stop it. Go away, cancel this. Good. Deployment failed. Come on, you can do it. Don't time out. More beer. It's the key to success here. Okay, so we're running. Good, we've got hot reload enabled. We're all good. Let's toss in that other page. Should refresh our, yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, nice. We found a bug in hot reload. Isn't that interesting? Okay, well, we don't necessarily care about this because we do get the pages we want. It's funny, it reloaded. The really funny thing here is the differences in font. That's so strange. Anyways, cool. Good to know. Okay, so we've got our stack layout. We're gonna add in a label. And really, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna use text equals, let's call this item detail. Okay, so we've got item detail on there. We're gonna use that markup extension, and I need to cheat and look at my blog to actually see how that's used. This is why I blog it. Got a memory like a goldfish. Okay, cool. Command, extensions, open browser. And I could just straight up pass it the URL. Let's do that. Let's copy that exact syntax here. And we actually need to make this a button so we don't have to muck around with tab gestures. And we'll bring in our extensions, namespace, LNS. Cool, and this is all, I don't think this is the out-of-the-box IntelliSense. I'm pretty sure that this is mfractor again. So we'll bring in our extensions. Why is this complaining? Extensions open browser was not found. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Called it OpenURI extension, not open browser. Or open URL. That's why. Code on my blog doesn't even work. There we go. Okay, so this one will open up the Microsoft Learn link. Actually, shit, we don't even need this. We can use the Prism extension. Ah, Dylan, come on, man. So I modeled this on the Prism Navigate to extension where you just give it a navigation URI and that Prism knows how to parse. This has a typo in it too. Good times. Anyways, we'll use that. Because I don't need any of this. Don't need any of it. It can be deleted. Stop this actually. I want to get those tabs loaded up the way we intended. So we can get rid of this extensions namespace. We can use XML-NS. Prism equals Prism library. And that gives us blow all this away. Prism navigate to, and then we can give it one of our navigation URIs like we have in that blog article. So in that markup that we had here. So instead of having to mess around with publishing a web page, now we can just do it within the app. Good, I like that. Quote in there that I don't need. Okay, so it's going to take us to items page, item detail page. Good stuff. Let's make sure this one works. And let's add some more. Now we don't have to mess around with this. I can just get rid of Visual Studio Code. I can close this altogether, which is great. Close the whole browser session, which is also great. And where's browser? Okay. Cool. So here's our links. Item detail. Add a space in there because we're civilized people. Let's tap that. Cool, so it's doing exactly what we wanted to. Awesome. So let's add another one in there. And another one. So I'm going to throw on that query parameter here. ID equals 2. I shouldn't have closed Visual Studio Code that quickly. I regret doing that. but it's fine. Still test this out. And how it reloads. We're in good shape. So let's see. Item detail, we want to say item detail 2. Cool. Awesome, so that just works. Nice. Okay, so the next thing that we ran into some funny things with were how it was launching a modal. So if we use something like this. So first off, let's write a unit test for this. I really want to, I'm very tempted to go back to Rider for unit testing. Just because it's so much easier in Rider. We'll see. Let's write the test in Visual Studio and see how far we get. If it goes well, great. If it doesn't, then we switch gears and core tests, forms, dry OC tests. No, we don't need that. We need common. I don't even have that. Forms tests. Mocks. Yeah, here it is. Modules. Modules. Page navigation service mock. Nope. I don't know why I'm looking in the wrong place. Like a fool. Page navigation service fixture. These are our tests. It's even going to be difficult to navigate, I feel like, from here. Let's get this back full screen. Okay, let's see if we can find that test that we were working on. So that's create tab, select tab, selected tab, navigation page. It's one of these. These are right at the bottom of, there should be a region in here. Let's see. Here we go. So this is the test that we wrote last time. This is ours. Let's tack another one on there. These test names really need some attention at some point, but today is not the day for that. With navigation page, like look at how long this test, look at how long this test name is. Navigate from content page to tab page, create tabs with navigation page, select tab to content page with navigation parameter. And why use parameter when we use param? Okay, and this URL is pretty long too, but that's fine. Param equals true. How are we going to test for that? So let's see, we get down to second content page mock. So we verify that we have the right page in the stack, but we're not really checking on, I don't think we have a good way of checking on whether that's a, we're getting the navigation parameter from that. Let's see, so let's look at, so second content page mock, just a content page mock, same as this one here. So this is navigation aware. It has a recorder built in. it's passed in when all this stuff is initialized. Cool, so the recorder records it, so we can actually look at what's in the recorder. But the parameters don't go anywhere. Well, let's add that in. Yeah, this is interesting. So we might have to augment this recorder functionality a little bit. Let's see. So page navigation, event recorder, record this. Oh, it only has events. Okay. It's not unnavigated from, so I don't know why I'm stubbing something in there. We'd have access to that from unnavigated to or initialize async. So those parameters, because we're entering the page, these three events, or these three methods are fired from the navigation service as this page gets created and at various points of pushing it onto the navigation stack. So how are we going to handle this? Okay, so which one do we want to look at? So I think actually as we're in here making these changes to these tests, yeah, we're going to need to change this this page navigation event recorder to do a little bit more, because it just does a very basic record here of this page navigation event. But we really needed to be able to do more than that. Page navigation record. Okay, so I'm going to close app stuff. So we've just got test things open. I'm going to take a look at this page navigation record. I want to see what's in here. So it has a page navigation event. This is very rigid. I mean, I understand why it's using this enumeration to make it very easy to check. It's all strongly typed. But if I want to do something like have the recorder check what's being passed in for parameters, I can't do that. Okay. You know what I'm going to do for this? We're going to open an issue in Prism. See what's in here for test issues, because this is kind of interesting to me. Yeah, okay. So I know there's a lot of active work happening around UI tests. Okay, so I think I want to open a feature request. This kind of seems a little arbitrary. Maybe I'm just gonna do this and it'll be part of my PR. Doesn't need to be tracked separately. Just gonna create noise. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is these page navigation records just need to be more flexible. So currently they take the sender and an event, and the event is an enumeration. So I think all we really want, because this is handling page navigation records, this simply can hold a page navigation I navigation parameter. Using Prism navigation. Navigation parameters equal null. And then we will create a property and initialize it. Awesome. And because this is a little long, which is very evident when I start coding like this, toString, huh. Wonder if this is actually if toString is being called anywhere. That's where it becomes tricky, is really here. You know what? I'm gonna leave it as is. Just because trying to serialize all this to a string, all the navigation parameters, because you could really have, a navigation parameter is really a dictionary of type string object. So you could have anything in there. So serializing that would be a challenge, unless it does it out of the box. Can't remember if it does. Let's take a look. Yeah, no toString. Okay. We'll leave well enough alone. So this gets done what we needed to do. And really, it simplifies our call from here too. So it doesn't break the existing API, but we can start throwing our parameters in there too. Parameters, and then we can write our tests against that. I thought I changed the interface here. Oh, the record method needs to be changed. Navigation parameters. Oh, navigation parameters equals null. And we'll have to bring in that namespace. Good stuff. Okay, space this out again. Records.enqueue, and then we can pass in our navigation parameters. Good stuff. Okay, so that takes care of what we needed to do. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't file an issue for that. That would have been ridiculous. Cool, so now we can really just clean up all these event recorder methods to also track the parameters here, which is great. So this will allow for us to test better, just everywhere we have navigation service tests. Sweet, I like it. Okay, so next, let's see. So I'm not familiar with how that recorder is being initialized and where we can get access to it. So let's take a look. That's going to be up in the constructor here. Or beer. Okay, so So this, I think I looked at this last time. This application provider contains the bits that have that like recorder in it. It's being used in some of the more page application provider. Okay, so let's reopen our close tab. Right, page navigation event recorder. So we don't need content page mock anymore. Let's see what's in. We're actually using this. Here we go. So recorder gets passed into the mocked page. Now this is kind of a challenge. Because it probably doesn't pass it down to children. Huh. How are we going to deal with this? So this is always interesting to me when you're writing unit tests. You actually have to consider the architecture of your unit tests, because something like this, particularly when we're asking the navigation service to do a bunch of work for us, it's really hard to reach in and get it to do what you need it to do in this kind of case. So really, these mock pages, I think, need to have a recorder built in. That's my opinion on this. So let's see what that would take to do. Because it's really nice to use constructor injection in theory, but in practice, like, we could just call new. This doesn't have any hard dependencies on really anything. Yeah, this shouldn't matter. I think pages should have a recorder built in my opinion. Let's see what that looks like. So, okay, before I make this change, I am going to run our existing tests. Now, there's a reason why I don't do much testing in Visual Studio for Mac. Because I don't like the way it works, basically. So I think what I'll end up doing, yeah, we're not doing any debugging in the actual device right now, so I am going to switch back over to Rider. This is the right version. I actually do have, oh look, there's 2019.3. Good, we'll use that, because then we can use it for everything. I mean, we don't get hot reload with Rider 2019.3, but I'm not really using hot reload right now anyways. I don't care. So I'm basically trying to get this to the point where it has enough test coverage, adequate test coverage. So we need a couple things. These are notes. I don't know why I have today. So agenda. I don't know why we're doing this so late in the podcast or podcast stream. Okay, so we are, it's a test, functional testing. Let's look at our I always like to compare what I put into the next stream. More unit testing, manual functional testing, UI tests. Cool. We probably won't get to UI tests. I don't even know where the UI tests are. We need to rebase our branch. I know that's a thing. Functional testing, unit testing. That's pretty much what we're going to do today. Functional testing and unit testing. And I know we want to get to that failing scenario, but I want to get this other test written first. Where is, here it is. Putting on the wrong window or wrong monitor. It's much better, and we can debug from here too. Okay, so closing all this off. This tab page mock has a recorder as well. That's interesting. We'll take a look at these mock pages as soon as we see. So I made the one change. So if we just quickly review what we changed in that other unit test. Or sorry, what we changed in the page navigation event recorder and page navigation record, adding our navigation parameters in there. So what we'll do is we'll rerun all our tests just to make sure we don't have any regressions at this point after making those changes. I doubt we will, because we'd have compile time issues, right? We changed the interface to have an optional parameter, and if something was broken, we'd know right away, it wouldn't build. So let's see how we do here. It is sunny outside. I will probably only stream for another 50 minutes before I go and lounge in the sun. It is very nice today. Okay, good. We're good. It builds. There's no regressions. So that's good. Now, what we want to do, let's go down to that test that we were just looking at here. So this is our new test. This would currently, actually this passes because nothing in the previous test that we copy pasted was checking navigation parameters. But that's not really the important part of that. Okay, so let's go into our content page mock. So this is our default constructor for this, which is what is going to get called when this gets initialized, or when this gets constructed. So really, we just want to say, like, we're not going to call the other constructor with null anymore. We're going to call it with actually, sorry, let's do that's what we're going to do. We'll pass a new instance of page navigation event recorder. And again, I don't understand why this isn't the default behavior. So I'm curious about that, but I don't know. So what we'll do is, let's run our unit test again. I want to make sure we're not breaking anything as we go, right? That's why we have tests to begin with. So run all our tests. Here they go. This should be good. Like, yeah, we're good. So all success, all green. So our other mocks. This is so collapsed I can't even see the button I want on here. just dense. Huh, odd. Okay, I'm dense, but it's fine. Navigation. Let's jump back to where we were here. Okay, so let's actually look at our other mocks. Might as well. So really all these are taking not taking a recorder, right? And really we want this recorder in all these mocks. I don't know why you would ever not give it a recorder. Because that recorder, like in this content page mock, like this is public. You can just ask it what it did when it's done. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why it's written like that. I'm curious. Should I bother with carousel page? Sure. Good, master detail. Now who knows, this might be done in a certain way for a certain reason. I don't really know. All I can do is make the changes that I think make sense and facilitate the tests I need to write. Navigation page empty mock. This one's called base. There's several classes in here. All I can do is make the changes that facilitate the tests I want to write, put it up in the PR, and see what Dan and Brian have to say. They could say, this is great. I don't know why we weren't doing this. Or they could say, this is a terrible nightmare. So is your code. Your code's a terrible nightmare, and so are you. Which, you know, wouldn't be all that surprising. Okay, so I think we have all these pages now doing what we want them to. So I'm going to close them all. Let's run our tests again. So now each one of those pages has the ability to record all the navigation events and the parameters being passed into them. Oh, here we go. We have a regression. Why we're doing this. Page navigation service fixture, deep navigate. Let's see, object not set to an instance of an object. Navigation page mock line 64. So pass in. Oh, this is the one that was calling base. So it's trying to give that page context to. Oops. Object reference. Okay, let's put a breakpoint there. Debug this. We'll know right away what's going on. I assume that binding context is null. Yeah, see, I'm missing something here. It's casting to this interface. Binding context is null. There we have it. Really, I want to change this cast. Save cast. So now if it's null, it cannot be assigned to. So really we want to do pattern matching in this case. If binding context is context, and then we go binding context dot page navigation event recorder equals recorder. Let's see if that does the trick. I hope the other tests were the same issue. Let's run them. We're in better shape already. Oh, no. 9 failing. Come on. What's going on right now? Oh, it's finished. Start from the bottom here. Something up with the way that mock is being used somewhere else from modules. Were these always failing? No, these were passing before, weren't they? Interesting. Why would these start failing? Basic catalog, XAML. This doesn't seem to be related. I don't know if this is related. This just might be. Let's see. Let's run these again. These should be using, like, it's saying you must call Xamarin.Forms init prior to using, but this should be using Xamarin.Forms mocks. So I'm not really sure why this is broken. Modules, basic. Let's see what's in here. Mock. Page navigation container mock. Yeah, it's not using anything. I am tempted to ignore these. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I am going to ignore those. I'm not actually going to ignore the tests. I'm just going to pretend that nothing is broken. Everything's good, everything's fine. So we're using the test recorder and everything. I'll come back to it after we've actually got our test written that we're trying to write here. I don't want to get taken off course by what I see as like really an unrelated issue. Okay, so now we are here. We have our current page. We know our current page is our second content page mock. So now we can grab it. Okay, so let's do that. So our next thing is second content page equals as navigation page, current page as second content page mock. So we've navigated. So our navigate is executed. It's taking us to our selected tab 2 and pushing second content page on the navigation stack of tab 2. And we're passing in a param of param equals true. So that's really what we're trying to check, is the param equals true. So the way that we're going to get that is we're going to look at the second content page, look at the logger, and see if the navigation parameters match what we expect. Cool. So second content page dot, what is that called? Page navigation event recorder? Yes, that's the one. Dot records. Nice. So really, just put an assert in here first. XUnit asserts. Not really super comfortable with them. So what we'll do, so we'll actually comment this out. Put a breakpoint here. And then we'll debug this test and see what comes back. Hey, Dan. Dan, you came at the right time. Pretend nothing is broken. You sound ready to take over for Brian. Yeah, something. So I changed some page mocks so they all record implicitly, like when you call the default constructor. Cool, right? Think shouldn't be a big deal. Just gonna work. Not really the case. It broke the module tests, so I have no idea why. Oh, my wife just dropped off a beer. That's amazing. Okay. So let's see what's in second content page. What the hell is slowing my machine down now? So let's look at that navigation thingy. Page navigation event recorder. This is the one. Null? Come on, man. How is that null? Second content page mock. Why is this taking so long to get my stuff? Page navigation event recorder is null. Why? So let's open up our second content page mock. Oh, I know why. I know why. Because I'm stupid. Yeah. That's exactly why. Stop. So the default constructor needs to call base with a new page event recorder. So I missed the one instance that really counted for this. Good stuff. Or I could just call base, actually. Let's do that. It's really what we want. All right. Let's debug this again. Now we'll actually get some meaningful stuff. I feel like I should pour this beer even though I'm not done my first. So my first is, you know, Done some good damage on it. Okay. Collecting data. Something I'm doing. Machine does not like. Got this running like minimal amount of tabs, minimal amount of everything. Okay, so got it up. Let's look at, holy shit. Page navigation event recorder. Still null. Why? 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 Let's put a breakpoint. We should be hitting the, we're gonna hit the default constructor. I'm pretty, like, I couldn't imagine not hitting this. Yeah. Dan says, feel free to rewrite that crap to use MockU instead of Brian's test recorder. Yeah, maybe that's what I should do. Because this is a huge pain in the ass. Let's do that. I don't like any of this. This is all garbage. Nice call, Dan. Don't need this, don't need this. Don't need this. Don't need this. Oh, this is the fixture. We do need that. So, tab page mock, tab 3 mock, page navigation record, page mock. Ah. Okay, rolling back all of this jazz. Cool. But this one didn't get rolled back? Huh. All right. So it's going to be difficult to mock this. Well, no, I guess I can just register it, right? I think the problem is I'm going to have to register a bunch of net new. We're going to have to do a replace in place for this, because if I start replacing big pieces of the way these mock pages work, it's going to break a bunch of existing tests because they're relying on all that structure to be there. I actually wish I didn't undo that. You know what? Let's go the easy route on this. So, Dan, I'll come back to this. I wouldn't mind doing a bunch of test refactoring once I understand this a little bit better. I think it needs some attention just to, you know, contribute to the overall health of the library. For now, what do I want to do here? Yeah, the challenge with this, oh, I shouldn't have undone that. Ha. Yeah, I know you want help with testing. I'm already on board. To be quite honest, I could use the practice. I haven't written much unit testing in the last year. So, got some rust. Okay, so I want to get this done with, I really just want to get in and out and get this finished. So, how thin can I get this? So I want my, so the content, second content page mock can call base with new page navigation event recorder. Good stuff. That's the actual fastest way, lowest footprint change. And then we can get to, I think that is anyways. Second content page mock. So I want to make sure when we actually navigate to that it's being initialized or instantiated in the way we expect. So I'm going to put a breakpoint here. And I'm going to comment this out again. And let's debug this. And I will finish this beer. Yeah, the build even is taking some time. Okay, so recorder is null. Where is this coming in? Oh shit, this is going to go through all of our different mocks. Tab 1. Navigation page. Tab 2. Tab 3. Okay, content page mock. Okay, so we have a recorder. That's awesome. And setting our page navigation event recorder to the recorder that's coming in. Nice. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, so second content page. You know what? I am going to add a watch. Second content page. Page navigation event recorder. This is still null, and I do not understand why. Because we just saw it. We just saw that it was set. It was just set right here. I don't get it. Do not get it. Set usages here. So Rider does this cool thing where I can filter read and write access, so I only want to show write access. So I feel like it's getting reset somewhere. Where is it getting reset from? I don't know. Content page mock. It's clearly being set there. Clearly. Why the hell don't we have it when we get down here? This is bizarre. All right, well, let's put a breakpoint on there and actually see on the set and see what's going on. Stop. I shouldn't have stopped that. Oh well, whatever. I could have backed up the pointer. Key pointer. Key promoter. Shut up. All right, time for a second beer. This is the same one as the first. Clips Milkshake IPA. So another 6.0% pint. I'm gonna get salty in this stream. I'm gonna be swearing at unit tests very shortly here. Which is really like, have you ever written unit tests and not sworn at them? I mean, some people don't swear, but I feel like those people even swear at unit tests. All right. Now that I have a fresh beer, let's figure out what the hell is going on here. Okay, so this is our tab mock, so I don't care. Page navigation, content page mock, again, don't care. So, content page mock, tab 2 mock, this is creating the page, create page, huh, interesting. Page 3. Second content page mock. Cool. So this is where we're actually getting that value that we passed in. But then it gets set again to null from create page. Oh, here we go. Underscore recorder, where is that coming from? So, page navigation service mock needs the recorder. Otherwise it overwrites it. Okay, all right, good times. So, shit. So we already have an instance of the page. Container mock get instance. So it's being overwritten. It's being overwritten because we haven't given it to the page navigation service mock. Shit. All right, I need to look at some examples. I am lost. Page event recorder. I don't want to look in there. I just want to see in this file, actually. Hey Dan, back at your computer and not your phone. See, I try and make the text big enough that you can even read it on your phone, but, you know, it's hard. So, oh, you were driving. Yeah, that would not make it easy to read any of that, for sure. So I'm trying to figure out how the hell I can unwind this to actually get at that recorder. It's a bit of a nightmare trying to get into that recorder when you're actually having your navigation service create the pages. Because, yeah, the page navigation service mock will wipe out it actually wipes out what you've created here with null, because there's null in here. Maybe the thing to do here is put a condition in here. Right here. I think that actually does it for me. I'm going to try that. Because that, at that point, it's not like the container is actually creating our instance, it's just getting our instance. And then it's explicitly setting that recorder to this page navigation service mocks recorder. So if this recorder is null, then really we don't want to touch what's already in the page. Yeah, that should do it. Yeah, it would be really nice to go through here with Mock-U and like really tune this up, because there's like obviously some challenges with capturing those events and making sure they can be tested for. And like really some of the tests could be even testing some more scenarios. Have some additional certs in them. Okay. So I'm going to debug this again. We should be good to go here. I'm actually going to get rid of I'm so confident I'm getting rid of my breakpoint there, and where the hell was that other one? I already got rid of it. Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Look at this. We have our page event, page navigation event recorder. We have it. It's amazing. Look at this. So amazing. Shit, I'm like, almost ready to wrap up here. It's been a short one today. I don't know if you can kind of tell it's sunny in here. Like, it's so sunny. Like, yeah, the sun's streaming in through the window. My deck faces, most of it faces south, and we get a little bit of western exposure too. And so the sun just beats on it. It gets hot in the afternoon. Like, it's not hot in Toronto. It's, I don't even know what this would be in Fahrenheit. Like 60 degrees, I think. Maybe a little lower. 60 Fahrenheit? Yeah. See? Yeah. Dan, you're in San Diego, man. The most consistent temperature in the world in San Diego, isn't it? So it's like 60 Fahrenheit here, so like 12 Celsius. But my deck gets to like 22 when it's 12 out, because if it's sunny, because the sun just like cooks it. So I can be in shorts and a t-shirt when it's 60 degrees and be very comfortable. Actually, I usually get sweaty out there. So I'm gonna go drink beer in the sun in a few minutes here. I mean, this is fun. I'm having a good time. Figured out how some of this test mock stuff works, which is great. So here's our unnavigated to event. Sweet. Rain constantly in San Diego for the last 2 months. Well, good time for quarantine, I guess, really, right? Okay, so the navigate to method is good to go. So we actually, where do I want to test that? Probably just on the page itself. Event, sender, shit, I undid the navigation parameters. Like an idiot. It's too hasty. It's fine. We can fix this. We can fix this very easily. I know where everything is. Kind of. I don't know where it is in the structure here. Alright, so this is navigation parameters. Navigation parameters. Null. Space it out nice because I'm extremely hyper aware of line length. Cool, so then we got that. One usage of that in our record method. And this can take in the same thing. So we'll do the same thing here. Navigation parameters. Navigation parameters equal null. Oops. Navigation parameters. Good stuff. Okay, so that's going to get us those pieces, and then what the hell was it? View model base, content page mock, page mock. Yeah, the structure of these mocks, not my fave. This is fine. Cool, so I think that's that. Navigated from, navigated to, initialize async. Yeah, we're good. Good stuff. So now, let's debug this again. So now our records, and really I think I just want to take the last record here. So that'll be our let's roll with it. Our last navigation aware call. Equals, so we got that. And then we can assert this. Assert dot, probably just do an assert dot equal last navigation aware record. I can never remember if this is expected than actual. Is that the, come on, give me the syntax. Expected actual. Okay, so our expected, so we're gonna have a navigation parameter. So this is gonna be new key value pair. Value pair of type string object. It's gonna be param. And true, I think. We'll see what we actually get from this. And we're not using VB, so true has a fault, small lowercase t. Now, last navigation aware record dot navigation parameters. And navigation parameters dot single. Cool. See what comes in. So I spent 2 hours, almost 2 hours, wrote 1 unit test today. I had to take a bigger drink of beer when I realized that was just the case. Good times. What's going on here? Okay, good. Yeah. Dan says, welcome to my world lately. Yeah, you've been doing a lot of code reviews too, which I know can be, navigation parameters is null. Oh, this is the view model, that's why. Okay, so I want to get the second to last. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use a link expression on here. So we'll do single. We'll do where record is record.event. Nope, not event. Yeah, we'll do an and. So we'll do record.sender. I've not looked. Oh, so that's pretty wild. That's a pretty good spike, and this is like, what is the axis here? Why am I only seeing until January 20th? Is this what I'm looking at here? I don't know how to read this freaking graph. It's because I'm on such a small screen. Let's see if this graph renders any better on my real screen. This chart. What's with the axis along the bottom here, Dan? I don't get it. So it says 0, 1, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. To me that reads, is this 2016? 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020? And then this is the April massive spike. Okay. Wow, that's wild. So this must be, this is people like me who have free time due to being quarantined and have always wanted to do, like, make a contribution to Prism and finally have time. Because that's really, like, I've always wanted to contribute to Prism. It's one of those things, I know it's you and Brian, like, working hard on making sure that this works properly and putting your time into it. K Hail D8. Hailed 8? I don't know how to read that. I don't know how to read at the best of times. So I hope I got that somewhat correct. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, Dan, it's really interesting to see how much activity that this is going to end up generating for the open source community. Like I have extra time because I'm home all the time. I have extra time because the user group that I usually host is not having sessions. Like, so I'm not really doing my usual community activity, and I have extra time because I'm cut back on work. So like I have time. I have so much time. I have time that I don't really know what to do with it sometimes. So it's good to have something to work towards, right? Dot get type equals type of. I know Dan says, I know some people stopped following on GitHub because we had so many issues, comments, code reviews. Really, so much activity that people dropped off. That's crazy. Seems short-sighted too. I mean, I don't watch my GitHub feed that closely. I kind of, once in a while, go in there and check it. So I guess if you're the type of person who's in there all the time looking at stuff, it's a little bit different, right? More notifications and things. Event, and we'll look at on navigated 2, because that's the last one that fires. Cool. This is not bad. Dan says, I get it. I generally scan and delete GitHub notifications. Yeah, me too. It's kind of funny to see how different people handle it too. So I had I opened an issue with Jonathan Peppers on Boots because there was just some things that were not working the way you'd expect with App Center, and I asked him for some advice, and like we kind of had some back and forth, and then I ended up finding a workaround just by using a different one of the shell scripts, just an event at a different time. I think this is gonna work now. And I basically said like, hey, I asked him, or I said like, here's what I did to work around it. Is there any reason why you're suggesting to use the? I think he was suggesting using post clone, and I ended up using pre-build to run my Boots to get my Boots dependencies going. And I asked him like, hey, any reason why you're using post clone versus pre-build to run Boots? He's just like, crickets. I should actually follow up with him and see if he's got a reason for that, because yeah, I don't know. Yeah. You know, App Center is so interesting to me. It's so interesting. It's I think it's the most enticing and probably underrated build product for the mobile ecosystem that there is. So I did a session a little while ago with one of the local user groups here, just on DevOps. Yeah. Yeah, runs first, but NuGet runs between post clone and pre-build, and if you change your mono version, it can break your NuGet restore, because there's a hard-coded stage in App Center build for NuGet restore. Anyways, I was saying, I think it's underrated. I think it's overlooked by anybody who's not part of the Microsoft community. So anybody who's building non-Xamarin apps probably doesn't have a good grip on what App Center can really do for them, which is a problem, because I went out and evaluated all the different cloud CI/CD options for mobile, so solutions that will actually build iOS and Android. And there is no contest out there. It's crazy how much better it is than anything else out there. It's better than, if you want to really just like click a couple buttons and have a working build, like App Center is absolutely your best solution. Nothing else is better than it. I looked at everything available. There's barely any solutions out there or cloud CI/CD providers that even do Mac build agents. It's really like Microsoft has. It seems like Microsoft has the best Mac build server farm or build agent farm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I agree. It's only good for simple builds and your mileage will vary. But if you want to just like get things started and then like the other thing is because of if you start with App Center, you can kind of work with it, right? You can continue to work with it and you make your build process bend to the tool, which is not as good. But yeah, and the Azure DevOps flexibility is so much better. I agree. I've done so much. Here's an example. If you want to run like SonarQube against your build, you can't do that in App Center. There's no way that's happening. It's not getting my breakpoint because it's not bringing back single. This is my last act. I'm going to get this test green and I'm going to go drink beer outside. Yeah. Dan's saying he doesn't like that the configuration for App Center is write a script. Now let's rewrite that script for our next project and again for the next one. Yeah, I agree. It's not, you don't have a lot of reusability there. Okay, what do we got here? I don't know why I'm looking at it that way, like a dumbass. This, trying to run with this DPI is driving me a little batty. Yeah, you do get a lot of access to the App Center servers, or build agents, but you do with Azure DevOps too, right? Like, it is the same agents really behind the scenes. I like both. Like, both tools are great. I've used, generally when I'm working with smaller, like kind of startup-y organizations, I will use App Center. And mobile build tools, Dan. Mobile build tools. Okay, second content page mock. Yeah. Yeah, I've talked to John Lipsky about that a little bit too, because we had the need. We were basically trying to see if we could run SonarQube within an App Center build process for a client. Navigated to second content page mock. What the hell is going on here? So our sender. What is this actually throwing? So if I play this out, and I look at my test results. Yeah, Dan, these module tests just start failing. No idea why. They were passing, and now they're failing. I don't think I broke them. I don't think. Like, I very well could have broken them. I could have just been in one of those files and fat fingered something too. So I'll take a look at my commit list before I wrap up. Single. More than one matching element. So I'm checking the type and let's just, should I use first or default? First? God, that's gross. I hate that with unit tests. Why? Why? I want to see which record, like why I'm getting more than one record back from this. Like I'm filtering by the event and I'm filtering by the type. This page navigation event recorder is only, yeah, this is bizarre. I actually really don't need to filter by the type. I can filter by event. Let's see. I'm just going to run this again. Take first. See what I get. It's gross. I'll fix it in a minute. My test likely does pass at this point. Well, it couldn't get past single, right? Because it was bringing back more than one record. See how it does this time. Okay, so we're gonna get more than one record from that. I should actually, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Make sure my test passes. Okay, so what do we have? So we have our record. Page navigation record. Navigation parameters. Just getting one back. I think I only have one in there. Oh no, shit, it's bringing in. Oh no. All the create tab params are coming in. So it's bringing in everything. It's encoding the whole string. So that's not going to pass. Like it functionally works, but it doesn't pass. Huh. Isn't that interesting? I feel like, yeah, that's just kind of bizarre. Actually, I hate how this test is written too. Let's change this up a little bit. IntelliSense is not working. You know, oh, why am I expecting IntelliSense when I'm naming a variable? This beer is starting to work, that's why. Okay, so I want to call this should be my expected or actual parameter. Dot last. This is kind of ugly. And not correct either. I'm actually going to declare one more variable in here. on it. Easy to debug right now. Almost there. So we'll get this test passing. We'll be in okay shape, on our way anyways. I'm gonna have to spend more time on these tests. I was so optimistic about today when I was coming into the session. I was like, oh yeah, we'll have the PR ready, it'll be great. I wrote one unit test, 2 hours. Good times. Well, you know, I got Tuesday. Dan, do you have a timeline for next release of Prism, Prism 8? Is it done when it's done, or is it, are you trying to hit a deadline? Look at this. What a load of crap. Navigation parameters. So many in here, 5. Let's use results here. Param true. It's not last, it's first. So you're working on regions. Done when it's done is great. I love it. So that's the milestone. Reworking page navigation service and the way it's handled with dependency injection. Oh, so it's not hard-coded to the first parameter? So this is not right. It's gonna have to be first. Nice. Scope service. I love it. That's awesome. Scope to the page. It's a little more lightweight. Okay. We should get the right parameter this time. Dan says he can't believe he got Brian to agree to let him add scoping to the IOC abstractions. Yeah. Brian was against it. Param true. And his true string. So Brian let you bring in the Prism container extensions minus support for Microsoft extensions dependency injection. Interesting. Yeah. I hear ya. I mean, that's kind of the consensus, right? I guess it depends on how heavy it is, but bringing in APIs that you don't use is always tricky. What do we got here? So this is what we want. This is gonna pass now. Am I comparing something that is not comparable? Let's run this one last time. And by one last time, I mean 2 more times. Dan says it helped. Brian wrote a test app for the new Bootstrap around his stream. Got excited that the Prism application version used dry IOC and the Bootstrap version used Unity. Yeah, that's cool. He finally saw what I've been telling him since we wrote the IOC abstractions. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. What do we got here? We got... I'm still pulling from... this is just... Like I said, beer is working. Actual navigation param. Let's plug that into the actual value. And then let's debug this. And then I'm going outside. It's like actually getting hot in here. Other than the application class, the Bootstrapper version uses 100% code share. That's awesome. That's fantastic. It's funny too. I know with the immutable changes to autofac, removing support to that was a key piece of Prism's IOC. Because I know you need to have the immutable container. I'm true. Did this just go green? We have a green test. I'm going outside. Do not have a green test. It's still failing. Yeah, what is it? Expected param true. Actual param true. Oh, I love it. It's so good. That's what I love to see, you know? That's because we're doing an object comparison of a key value parent, not the primitive internals. Okay, well, let's just do this. Let's, again. The container, I am very excited for the container resolution exception as well, Dan. I think that's a big improvement. I really like. Well, the values match, but the test failed because, you know, I'm a hack and think that comparing objects is gonna work the way I want it to. Value. Okay, so we'll just check the key, check the value. Cast it to bool. I don't care. Let's make this work. I'm not even going to debug it this time. We're running it. I'm going outside to finish my beer. Mighty 845, thank you for the follow very much. Thank you, thank you. Pending. Pending on what? Running. Failed. Unable to cast object of type system string. Oh, it's a string. It's a string. That's why. Right, because it's a navigation parameter coming in through URI. Hold on, let me undo this. Yeah. There, now it'll pass. Come on. Come on. Come on. That deck is calling me. Bool.true string? Yeah. Mind you, the way I pass it in is like hacky, so it might not add up that way anyways. Really, I should just pass it a simple value. I should pass it a 1 or something like that. Actually, I'll change that before I go here. So it's passing, it's green. We have a green test. We have a check mark. It's passed. I'm going to change this to toString 1, and then I'm going to change my actual parameter. I'd set it to true. That is a stupid test case. It's too finicky. Change it to 1. Test one more time. And then I'm going to sign off for the day. Let's actually find it in this list. Holy hell. It's green. We're good. It's like the last one in the list, I think. No, it's not at all. Alright, I don't care. Alright. Dan, I appreciate you chiming in here. Always good to continue to connect on this stuff. So I wrote a unit test. 2 hours, 2.5 hours almost. All right, well, you know, it's better than nothing. We got more test coverage. I'm going to commit it. Let's see. So I've got a bunch of stuff. So I've got this, my test project, which I'm going to have to do something with at some point. I'll probably add my test pages into whatever you've got for UI test next session. So I think as far as test cases, we're in relatively good shape. Relatively. Fixtures, box. And yeah, I'm actually excited to write UI tests because I don't often get time or budget to do it. So having a good reason to write some UI tests is going to be really fun. So Dan, I'll ping you offline and kind of get the down low on where the tests are. And that's what I'll be doing on Tuesday. So Tuesday, UI testing, Xamarin.Forms UI tests, which is awesome. Okay, let's go with, this is, I'm just going to be brutally honest. Wrote a single unit test in 2.5 hours, but I had beer, so it was okay. Commit and push. We good. All right. Thanks a lot for joining me, everybody. I will see you again on Tuesday. We'll be working on UI test. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about what we've done here. Things are in pretty good shape, and I will see you later. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.